in Niamey. And this is very, very interesting because it shows the direction which Africa is taking at this point in time, where everybody is eagerly supporting the movement being led by Ibrahim Traoré. Let us take a look.
They enjoy saying it every year in their economic surveys. Burkina Faso is the poorest country, Mali is the poorest country, Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well, if we are as poor as they say, but when the time came to take responsibility, we asked these masters to leave. Why don't they want to leave? When we take the case of Niger, for over 40 years, some countries have been exploiting uranium to produce energy for themselves. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are lit up. That's the light. But in Niger, it's darkness that is served to us. When you go to our states, our lands are riddled with holes, everywhere in search of precious metals like gold, but often there isn't even the slightest accessible road to reach the areas where they exploit gold, let alone some basic social services. That's why we decided to revolt and take the destiny of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples. But when we decided to do so, well, we were approached by some armchair slaves to deliver the message of their master, because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the head of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain. And it's inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to fall in line, to become part of the elite that must lead Africa. Because they have a trained and conditioned elite that they must follow, who are embedded in that chain. We refused Baofat to fall in line with them. And from then on, hostilities began. They have infiltrated our areas with several mercenaries, trainers. Agents have descended into the Sahel, hoping to carry out barbaric, cowardly attacks against our populations, hoping to incite them to revolt. In addition to these on-the-ground attacks, communication attacks, manipulation, and disinformation are rampant in their ranks. But the people of the Sahel have understood, and never again will they be manipulated. They know where they come from, they know what they are doing, and they know where they are going. We will no longer allow this. People are awake and fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations. And thank you all for the fight that is being waged. This never makes us cry. We will not tremble. We will face it. We will fight for true independence, for our freedom. Because to scare the people of AES, these individuals only have 3 terms in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights. Of course, their local lackeys are only elected in a democratic, free, and transparent process, according to them, their values. What could be more normal? That they want to impose this on us, because they are the ones who set the rules. Very well, we have decided to take responsibility for ourselves. That's why on July 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the armchair slaves and their masters got on their high horses. They put their local lackeys forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people. So we said, anyone who dares to attack Niger will face us because we will wage a relentless war to the last drop of blood against anyone who dares to attack our states. This statement, this decision we made yesterday is relevant today and will be relevant tomorrow and forever. Thus, the AES was born on September 16th, 2023, within a framework of mutual defense. But we deemed it necessary to extend and expand the architecture of the AES. What brings us together today should allow us to venture into other areas beyond defense, notably finance and economy, infrastructure, health, education, and so on. I hope that these moments will be a story we write for the AES, but especially for Africa and the entire world. May God enlighten each and every one of us. May God inspire us in these tasks entrusted to us. And above all, when we carry out our work, let us keep one thing in mind: the supreme interest of our populations. With that, we pray once again to the good Lord to accompany us all in our various tasks, to protect our fighters, who, thanks to them, allow us to sit here and discuss the future of our states. Once again, thank you, people of Niger. Be united and in solidarity. People of the AES, the homeland or death.
This is what Captain Ibrahim Traoré said during his visit to Niger when he went for the AES summit. Key issues we can talk about right here is that he acknowledged that their countries are poor. They've been poor. I think Burkina Faso had independence around 1960. And since then, the country remained poor and underdeveloped. The tarred roads are around 3,000 kilometers. And the government is taking it as a responsibility to make sure that they deliver a powerful infrastructure. We have seen them doing it in terms of housing. They are making sure that they build houses for the poor. They've made the education free. We have heard about the maternity is now free as well. We've seen university students, they're now being paid $200 for simply registering as a student. And you paid that money up until you get a job. That is leadership, which is happening right there in Burkina Faso. And the key issues he speaks about is that why is it that colonialists, they do not want to leave when Africans say, no, we are now taking this into our own hands. We need to develop, we need to deliver our own services. Then colonialists like France, they are refusing to leave. The minerals, they belong to Burkina Faso. They must benefit the Burkinabe people and they must benefit Africans. But why is it that these Europeans and the former colonialists, they want to continue to dictate what happens in terms of currency, in terms of the minerals, in terms of taxes? These are the issues which they are disagreeing. And because they failed to agree on those terms, then they want him dead. They are doing everything they can to kill him. So he acknowledges that they've deployed assassins within and without Burkina Faso to try by all means possible to destabilize or whatever which is happening. So they've refused to be controlled, and we have seen a wave of protests across the globe. We have seen protests in USA, we have seen a protest in Germany, in UAE, in Britain, in various countries. We have seen solidarity protests happening. And these are people who are in solidarity with Ibrahim Traoré. And that is a revolution which is now happening in Africa. In as much as it is starting with Burkina Faso, everybody is praying to God that they keep him alive, because as it stands right now, a coup is likely brewing within Burkina Faso. Remember, they've thwarted several coups since he assumed the power. They've thwarted several coups, and there is a possibility that they are building up another one. Because they won't stop until they silence him. Reason why is Ibrahim Traoré has become an example of how Africans can govern themselves when they have leadership which is pro-people, which is not there to enrich itself. And because he is cutting off the resources and is making sure that the resources which they have, they do not go outside their countries. What it means is it means trouble to other countries. So look at the critical issues he raised, that they have uranium. With uranium, but they still have no energy in their own countries. Yet the countries without uranium, they are exploiting uranium and then they have energy in their own countries. So when you look at all those issues, they are very important issues which have been raised, and they are fighting for future generations. They are no longer fighting for themselves. They are fighting for future generations, which means it's a revolution coupled with sacrifice. You know that whatever which is doing, he might be assassinated, but they vowed to protect each other. Niger will be protecting Mali, will be protecting Burkina Faso, the same as Burkina Faso will be protecting Mali and Niger, and Mali will be protecting Burkina Faso and Niger as well. So that is what the alliance is doing, and that is great. So we hope and believe that this is a revolution which will start to happen in or across Africa, because we have seen next to in Botswana, we have seen the Botswana president making a comparison in terms of what needs to happen. And it seems as if he is endorsing the kind of leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, where he believes that with such kind of mentality, you see Africa rapidly developing. And that is the only way you can deal with corruption, you can deal with incompetency, nepotism, and whatsoever. So the issue of democracy, we have talked about it and said democracy cannot be dictated by those in the West, by the Europeans. No, they cannot dictate democracy on our behalf. We need to tell ourselves, what do we call human rights? What do we call freedom? What do we call democracy? We need to have a clear definition as Africans. And once we have that, we will be able as Africans to build a solid ground for ourselves, and that will be the development of Africa. So we are not so far from having a better Africa, where the interest of the populations of Africa are going to be supreme. We can't continue to have our people be dotted across the globe. It can't continue to happen like that. We need the situation where our people will remain in Africa, developing Africa. Our resources will remain in Africa, developing Africa. Then we can hire experts in technology to come right here to Africa so that we employ them and they help us develop certain technologies. That was what we need to do. And we have the power and capacity to do so. What we just need is leadership. So I believe that this is a revolution, and there is a general consensus about what needs to happen and how everything should happen. I just want to thank everybody who is right here. And I just want to acknowledge my brother Willard. Thank you very much for the contributions and for coming. And Bire, my sister, thank you very much for coming. Adroit, thank you very much. Erisha, thank you very much as well for coming. So we will continue to fight. We'll continue to be in solidarity with each and every progressive African for the sake of a better Africa.